Hello everyone, it's Suzanne Kohlberg and today I'm super excited to be joined by Bingz. Bingz is a gentleness coach and intuitive healer who believes in the magical healing power of gentleness. She's passionate about helping fellow sensitive souls understand and manage their sensitivity with gentleness. I love this. I love your bio because I'm more hammer than gentle, as many of you know. Bingz help them be gentler on themselves through understanding their unique sensitivity challenges that are often invisible to others using their human design charts. Through unwinding their feelings about their life challenges with her clients often find it easier to relax, release anxiety, fatigue, and overwhelm within a single session. She's also the author of her first book, Empowering Your Life with Gentleness, a simple guide to feeling safe and free to be you. I love that. Welcome, Bingz.
Thank you, Suzanne. Lovely to be here.
So we connected in a business group, and you've interviewed me on your page before, and I'm really excited to interview you today because so many things that you do that I am interested in. So first off, I'd just love to ask, tell me more about what it means to be a gentleness coach. What do you mean by that?
I think many of us are taught to just be tolerant and trudge on. And even though we might feel there's this inner instinct to be gentle on ourselves. So I'm just here to validate and to remind my clients to go and listen to that voice inside. Yeah.
And what led you to do this work?
My own experiences with overwhelm. So in my book, I shared about my top 3 episodes of overwhelm and how gentleness always leads me back to myself. And it's really more of how I've been harsh to myself rather than society being harsh on me.
Yes, I'd love for you to talk more about that because often, people talk about it and we think, oh, it's society and it's everyone else and it's external, but often we're our own worst critic or our own harshest judge. So I'd love for you to talk a bit more to that.
Yes, so I think our society is built for hardy people, but some of us are built to be more sensitive and more open to what others feel and think and even fear. So we are not taught how to deal with that. And many of us are taught to deny that part of us, and that causes a lot of unnecessary suffering. So it doesn't mean that life needs to be smooth flowing all the time, but it has to feel right in that sense. Yeah, it has to flow in a meaningful way, I feel.
I love it. And I'd love for you to talk more about, because I follow you on Facebook. I love the dance videos that you post. So tell us a bit more about that.
When I've always loved dance, and so while I was waiting to enter university, I took up a dance classes, and it really freed me up. I feel much more confident and able to process my joy. I feel like I was taught to sort of hide my joy. It feels like it's inconvenient to others, but dancing gives me an excuse to really blast it out.
Yes, and you do it so well. I love it. And it's about, like, it feels like you say embodying gentleness in your daily life. Do you think dance is part of that?
Yes. And it dancing teaches me that any sort of energy is welcome, and it even promotes creativity. So when I'm able to see dance in the way I relate to people, then even conflict becomes beautiful. And it's just how I want to flow with it. Like what kind of dance do I really want to show in my life, to embody in my life. It also helps me to make sense of the feelings that I'm feeling, because I'm an emotional empath. I tend to feel all sorts of weird stuff that don't really belong to me, and I used to just block it out. So I'm like, if you ask me what I'm feeling now, I won't know. I can't describe, but I can dance it out and I will feel better. So that's my way of processing emotions.
I think this is a really valid point, especially for the clients that I work with as well. Being emotional, being empaths, blocking out our emotions, or in the case of many people I work with, numbing our emotions with food, like shoving it down, eating.
Yeah.
And I love how you're saying that dance allows you, to feel the feelings and work through them and process them rather than ignoring them, numbing them, hiding them. Is dance something you do with your clients?
I've started with a beta client. She's a friend, so she actually asked me for private sessions, and it's really helped her make sense of a certain traumatic episode she's been through, and how it has affected the way she holds and moves her shoulders. So our shoulder joints are very mobile, but as adults, we tend to feel like we need to shoulder our responsibility. So it's not meant to be that way. So I remember, like, when I was working in a corporate company, I would feel so burdened by all the energies there, that whenever it's tea break, or like when we have our meals, my shoulders would just rest on the table. So because they were so heavy, and when I resigned and left, I feel like I can fly. So I think dance is a really good way to examine the feelings that are sort of trapped in our bodies, and we don't really have to analyze it, but after we process it, some insights might come, like what she did for her case. So after our first half-hour session, she had her own insights relating to her past, and that actually moved her to have a lot more fun, like what she used to do as a child. So she used to dance a lot as a child, and it came back.
I love that. And I love the description of the shoulders and feeling burdened, because people often say it feels like we're carrying the weight of the world, or that the conflict or avoiding conflict can be really hard for anyone, but particularly for empaths and emotional people, because we feel the emotions of the people that we're in conflict with as well as our own. So the other thing I was just going to say about it is the enjoyment factor, because a lot of people I work with, like exercise, it feels like it has to be a drudge. Like it feels like I have to burn so many calories, or I have to do something prescriptive, whereas it sounds like this is more free flowing and freedom. So I love it. The next question I wanted to ask is, in my interview with you, we talked about human design. How did you come across that, and how did you come to incorporate that in your work?
I just happened to have a soul portrait reading, and the reading included a small bit of my human design. I was really intrigued about it, and I happened to read a book that really made it very simple to understand. It's called Understanding Human Design by Karen Parker, and I studied with her for a year or two, and it just flowed from there, and it became very overwhelming at some point, because it's so intricate, it's incredibly complex. So your mind will just like dive in and try to figure out everything mentally. Then I stepped back and I decided that this is not a mental modality. So out of the 9 energy centers, only 2 of them belong to the mind. So I decided to interact with it more intuitively, just using my way of sensing energy, and that became a lot better for me. I could actually sort of intuitively sense the important issues that are blocking my clients. And so I'm not reading from a book on what this is, but I sort of can sense what's being trapped in their open centers. So open centers are the parts where we sense energies from other people, places, and events. And because we don't have this knowledge that we are sensing them, we tend to be conditioned thinking that these energies are ours. So it's sort of like you have a room and you neglect to do some spring cleaning every day, and certain things become part of the permanent structures there that you don't even notice anymore. So this is what I do as an intuitive healer. I sense it and I carry out conversation with my clients, so there's more awareness of what's been going on in her life.
I love that. And for anybody who is new to human design or has come across human design before and dismissed it, as I must admit I did when I first came across it. I loved how just then you said, I found this book and it was easy. I was like, easy? You know, like my eyes glaze over. But I love, like, in the reading you did for me in our interview, exactly as you just described, Bingz has this ability to take what is a really complicated, really so many centers and lines and bits and connections and just, you know, and pick out the bits that are really pertinent. So yeah, I highly encourage to book a session with Bingz or have a look at her stuff because it's sensational. But what for me, human design, I heard about it a few times. I had a bit of a look. I dismissed it as like astrology. No offense to people who do astrology either, but I was like, yeah, whatever. But if something for me keeps coming up, that's the sign that maybe I need to look into this a bit more. And yeah, in our session, there was so much insight and connections made. So I really encourage you to, if it's something that's been noodling in the back of your mind, book a session with Bingz about that. She makes it make sense. And the bits that are pertinent, because it's like anything, it's a giant rabbit hole and you can end up not seeing anything for the trees, the forest for the trees, you know?
Yes.
So the final thing the time's going so fast. There's so many things I want to ask. It's like, this is, my manifesting generator is going everywhere. But I wanted to ask, so I've noticed you've been publishing a lot on Medium, like you're going to become this Medium sensation. How did you come to start that, and how is it changing how you do your business?
So I actually took a quiz to find out what's my greatest level of want last year, and it came out to be an author and speaker. So I was like, what? And but during that time, I actually published my very first book. But I still didn't feel like I'm an author, I'm more of a healer. And I took the quiz again this year by a random coincidence, and it came out to be the same. And I just feel like, as the generator, I feel very energized by it this time. So and there were a lot of other synchronicities coming to me, like a Medium course and all that. So I just jumped right into it and started to like write and publish almost every day. I even started to write poems.
I saw one just the other day. It literally gave me goosebumps. Your writing is beautiful.
Thank you. I've never thought of myself as a poet, but it just came true, and that there were a lot of insights, and I find that it's easier for the gentleness to radiate out of the words in poetry, because you don't want to analyze poetry too much. So you just want to feel it when you read it, and I feel like it's a very good sort of medium to transmit that kind of gentleness vibe.
I love it. And if anyone watching doesn't know what medium.com is, I was saying to a friend about it the other day, And she was like, what, is he bringing across the dead? I'm like, no, not medium, like mediumship. Medium.com is a platform, much like you'd have Google or something, with a bunch of articles and blogs written by many different authors. And it's a subscription service. You're allowed to read so many for free, and then after that, subscribe. But if you find somebody you really like I like Bingz, if you follow her Facebook profile, the link she provides there, you can read all of her Medium stuff for free. You don't need to sign up for that subscription service if you choose not to. And then if you read anything and you like it, you give it a clap. It's so funny. The first time I published something on Medium, I said to all my friends, hey, can you go and give me the clap? And then anyway, it's the way that you like you would on Facebook, the articles and stuff. So it's really awesome. There's such fascinating things there, and you can read so many for free. Or if you follow a friend, as I said, and they share the link, then you can read that for free anyway. But Bingz is doing amazing things. I saw you got like 1,000 claps on something recently. I was like, go you. So I'll be like, I had to say, I knew you when.
Thank you. It's been a lot of fun. Yeah.
It's been awesome talking to you today. So thank you so much. But before we wrap up, is there any, I'll put your social media links and stuff in the video description so anyone can come and lovingly, lurkingly stalk you on Facebook. But have you got any programs or anything coming up that you'd like to share with the listeners?
Yes, so I'm going to launch a second round of this Human Design for Empaths course. So I've specifically designed it for empaths so they can learn and appreciate more about their sensitivity. So it's going to be a 4-week course. And there's a simpler version. There's a self-paced 5-day course that I send the link to you. So you can take a look.
Yeah, totally. So I'll put both the links to the self-paced 5-day course, which is, self-paced. You can do it at any time. And then depending on when you catch this, there's the live round course, and I'm sure Bingz will run something again in future. I know, self-paced has advantages because you can do it at any time, but live rounds also have advantages that you can ask the facilitator questions and stuff as well. So thank you so much for joining me today, Bingz. I look forward to continuing watching your rising stardom on Medium, and have a lovely afternoon.
Thank you, Suzanne.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.